Welcome back to another Bannerlord video. So today what I'm going to be doing is rebooting my Fellowship series. And I'm just going to carry everything over. And so here's all my mods. Just going to quickly show you some of them. Knock them down, partial parry. Those are huge changes because now you can't block every shot. Some shots break through, two-handed, and heavier items break through lighter items. So what that means is, if you got a one-handed weapon versus a two-handed, then you're most likely going to get broken through. But I got close to, 90 mods, I'm pretty sure, on here. Mods that pretty much change just about every aspect of the game. So here's my character creator. And I like to make perfect templates, and I'll show you why maybe another time. But it just makes for quicker leveling up because I have a lot of companions. It's just what I'm doing here. This is more of like a mythological playthrough with like super powered companions, so. And this is what I mean by perfect companion. You see maximum attribute all the way up to 15 instead of just 10. But as you can see, there's no way I'm fighting with that haircut, so yeah, look at this little pencil neck. I gotta change this guy a little bit. I'm just gonna open up the character editor here. What you do is you just right click on your guy's name and it'll open this up, and you can change the name or appearance. Now, I can't remember if this is custom companion, what this mod is called, but I got mods where I can edit my troops. That's my little warband. I got custom companion, which means I can create my own companions and name them and edit their appearance. So that must be what this is, and this allows me to change all heroes in the game. So I got full control over troops and heroes. And this was like just a little test I started a couple months ago, like 6 months ago or something, and it's never crashed on me, which is pretty surprising. So I've never had to like switch over to another newer version yet, which is something I'm gonna do. But I kind of like this world I've created, so I'm gonna play it till it crashes on me. So here's my garrison. You can see we got these boosted garrisons where you can hold about as many troops as you can gather. I was originally doing me versus the map, which is why I wanted that. But I eventually made some allies, which I regret because they always are doing funny things. But here's the Fellowship. And as you can see, I got these like historical / mythological warriors, and then I got a whole bunch of uninspired Amazons. They're just random Amazon troops. But I got these almost like chosen one type characters from different cultures and different religions. We got Joan of Arc next to Braveheart and King Arthur. And so I've been playing this game for a while, so everybody has they've been upgraded. They've moved on from their traditional armors. Like we got Leonidas here, he's knighted. A lot of the characters are knighted under Arthur and Merlin, who are like in my story, they're like the founders of this group basically. They're kind of like Aragorn and Gandalf. But Hercules was my main character during the playthrough, but I would actually switch and play other ones. Like what this is like a playground. a sandbox playground for me to, I can take different leaders and, you know, I could bring a samurai army and go start a war. I can make different branches. But I ended up mixing like this fantasy slash historical playthrough, and it's kind of like in this Narnia type setting. And there is characters like Napoleon, Alexander the Great, William the Conqueror, Vlad the Impaler, Genghis Khan, you know, all these great military leaders. But I've put them on the other teams because I want to face up against the more powerful empires, so I've given them overpowered troops as well as myself. Conan the Barbarian. So it's just like it's a fantasy playthrough, but I've kind of used all these historical characters, kind of like an Age of Empires game. And like the troop trees start off tribal or primitive, and then they upgrade through the ages. Instead of just higher tier armor, you actually get more advanced armor. And so you, just like Age of Empires, your characters level up through the ages. So we've got things like people from biblical times all the way to Egypt and Greek. You know, we got Braveheart, Joan of Arc, and even some people like Crazy Horse, Napoleon, George Washington, who were from the 1800s, maybe even the early 1900s. But we don't have revolvers and repeaters. We just got muskets, flintlocks, blunderbusses, and, you know, Vikings, pirates, and orcs, and all kinds of crazy things. What I did was I just mashed everything into one playthrough. What I'm doing is I'm just gonna pick a loadout out of what I got in my inventory, and then I'll find something better down the road. So this is like kind of like a Diablo 2 inspired playthrough where I've got some like almost super powered characters and companions. Oh, I'm just gonna change leader now. That's another mod called Change Leader. And let's just do a little tournament here. I usually like to select lower level companions for the tournaments to make them a little more challenging. But I took a few higher level ones. I took Hercules, who's the strongest out of the group, or the highest level, I should say. See, this Dragon Guard is like a mythical character from the Azerite team, and look at, basically he doesn't even move, his armor is so heavy. And all that comes into play with the knock him down and the stun lock and everything. As you can see, my character doesn't even really move them on a hit. But the knockdown factor is always there. What I've done is I've made my own RBG. RBM rather. Realistic battle mod, so the battles last longer. Guys with armor are very hard to take down. And so this is basically like a Diablo, almost a Diablo / Lord of the Rings, and inspiration from like Elden Ring and a bunch of other fantasy type games. It's just all mixed into one, but it's still Bannerlord. But instead I got a ridiculously powerful team, but I'm also up against more powerful enemies who also have access to everything I got, which is muskets and mages and myth and legend and all types of warriors from history. And what I did was I made each faction like a sort of like a continent, but not really. Like, so Khuzait is like Asia instead of just Japan or just China. It has to be all mixed into one. Here, 1 second, I forgot I have to change my weather on my game. Forgot about this. Okay, I'm back. So, yeah, so what I'm doing is I'm just re-watching this and giving commentary over top. And what I'm doing here is I'm just using this cavalry to break the formation of the incoming bandits. And I'm getting them ready for a charge. But what I want to do is, the reason I pull them back is because I want them going into my shield wall, and I don't want these guys targeting my archers. So you can see I got 40 archers down there. So I'm going to move my archers. And I'm going to move these guys in for a bit of a flank. And now we can rain down a Sun Tzu fire arrow trap. The art of war. Be where your opponent does not expect you to be. Destroy them from within. This is the way. I'm not a historian or anything like that. You can tell that if you're one of these Renaissance historian geeks. No offense. I am too, but I'm just not as I'm not as familiar with everything, like every detail and all that. I watch more movies than history, but I appreciate history more so than the movies. Historical movies are always the worst, yet the best. They're the worst for inaccuracies, but they're some of my favorite movies. It's just too bad they don't try to make the battles more realistic. Or stick to the character's real story, but it is what it is. So anyway, I modeled this more after like Lord of the Rings or something instead of like real history. So that's why I made it in this fantasy land, because now time doesn't matter, and it would make sense that all these dead characters are now alive on one battlefield. So it's no sweat. Don't be coming after me about the Spartans wearing Roman centurion shoulder pads, because what I did was I mixed some of the armors to make characters more bulky. And that's almost what you'd expect if you had all these guys in one army. They would start mixing and mashing armors, upgrading, advancing, adapting. And that's sort of what's happened here. They've adapted into this mythical environment. And this is just easy pickings from here. But this was really a really good map. So I got all my Amazon archers up here. And there's all types of troops. I just happen to have a bunch of Amazons in my castle, so we're upgrading them. Because there's the free man, which means it's like a freed slave, and then we got the Amazons. And they have the potential to level up into any culture, whether it's Spartan, Samurai, Knight, or whatever you want. They have a tree that branches into any culture. I can also recruit any of the other factions, which all have their own custom troops with their own strengths and weaknesses and themes. Some are more technology, some are more offensive, some are defensive, some are more magic and mage. Some of them are more well-rounded and all that, so... And so what I did down there is I made a sorry, I didn't make a shield wall this time. Usually I make a shield wall up front, and then I'll put a line behind them. Because a line will move forward, but a shield wall will stay static. And so the static shield wall does not output a lot of damage. They will swing back, but just not effectively. There's an easy win. And so what that means is your line will actually... They will take the benefit of that shield wall defense, but they'll be able to move forward and pick their shots and defend the defenders with offense. So I'm pretty sure we'll get into that in the next mission. What I did was I skipped ahead. We're going to be passing through a lot of the idle travel and things like that. We're just going to get into some battles, and I'll try to show some extras now and then, just to I like to display the mods. So Mr. Anderson, that's actually my name. It's not supposed to be like Neo in Narnia here, but I guess that's kind of the idea. Just gonna sim this one. It's too small of a battle. The advantage to these Amazons is they're extremely fast. Like, you saw how fast they all ran up. They also hit, they swing fast too. So that's the GT Carbon Body mod, which overhauls the female troops. Except, like, you see that Mayhowl the Wanderer, how she's not modded. So there's still both. There's both types. There's the Amazon body and then regular. So we skipped ahead to the final round here, and it was me versus 7 by myself. My entire team got taken out. And I'm battling Perseus and Mayoto Musashi, which is fucking epic. But these guys are way higher level than me, and they make short work of me. These guys have super speed and strength, just like the real myths and legends. Just doing a little practice round here. So this is an expanded practice. You can see 100 opponents, but since I'm such a low level, you see I can't even block. He crashes right through my guard. So it really changes the game when you have knockdown and breakthrough. Figured I had to leave that flute in just once. So here's those are my custom troops, but I'm gonna switch over to these Roman soldiers. I like just having those Amazon troops as extras, not really as like a full army. But this is why I built this sandbox. I can basically... There's Merlin the Wizard. That's our Gandalf. Historical Gandalf. Basically what I could do is I could put any historical character like Leonidas, I can grab a bunch of Spartans and I can go with 300 characters on a suicide mission to defend a castle or whatever, you know what I mean? I could take samurais with Masashi. I could do any kind of mix of King Arthur with a bunch of knights, you know, whatever you can think of. So right here, we're up against Mongolians. What I'm doing is what I call protect the prince. And what that means is I build a square around my character and I keep troops in the middle. And so basically our shield walls become like a castle defense where we fight from within the square. You could also do like a circle of death. That's what I call protect the prince. Just gonna show you guys a quick bandit clear out. So for this one, I've only taken Musashi and Hercules, who are my two best warriors. Sometimes it's just a knockdown, so you can stab them and hit them when they're on the ground. That's why I take an extra swing at them sometimes. Okay, so it's us two versus like 15 of them. But those guys throw missiles. Musashi's bow is like a ballista arrow type deal. And Hercules throws rockets basically. It's like a rail gun. I was actually surprised we won this. It's just a good matchup, I guess. Like if it was Viking pirates or the cowboy bandits, then we wouldn't have been able to do that. And that's kind of what I like about my map that I made here, is it's the skills and what's it called vary so much. The strengths and weaknesses. Basically peasants have no chance against tier 5 or 6 troops. Like the gap has been increased so much. Okay, so this time we got King Arthur, Braveheart, Joan of Arc, and Maximus. Joan of Arc's probably got some of the coolest armor. I guess all the King Arthur knights are pretty badass too, but she's kind of got the coolest looking set. I should have dueled this guy one-on-one. So what I'm going to do is share all the mods in the description, and like you could start one of these up yourself if you wanted. All you need is My Little Warband, custom companion, and you can maybe add max attribute if you're trying to do like a super powered type playthrough. I'm just trying to think if there was another character editor I had. But if you do want to start one of these, you can hit me up and I can try to help you find what mods you're looking for. Well, here's a quick little bridge defense. Anytime you got a bridge, use that. Just like Thermopylae Pass. Make them remember when free men stood against many. For freedom! So in this video, my settings are going to be changing quite a bit. I had some, I've had trouble lately with my computer, as you all probably have had before, so I've been trying to figure some things out since the last Windows update. Been having frame rate drop and audio issues. Now I've gotten that sorted out, but now I just have to get my settings perfect so that I can play without stutters. But what I like is that balance between good details, good graphics, but I'd like to have larger battles, or at least a medium-sized battle. I've noticed doing, I got a mod where I can go up to like 1200, I think. Maybe more. But with all these modded characters, it's not possible. Just some of the troops are just, I don't know what it is. Their armor is just not optimized, let's say. It's either too detailed or whatever, you know. So anyways, I have to fight smaller battles, which is actually kind of nice because me and my companions get to do more work, and we fight these steady endurance battles where there's constant stream of enemies coming in. What I like to do is I give my companions heal on kill. I think all the troops actually have a very minor heal on kill as well, and that's like a momentum factor. So the team who's getting kills is also going to be recovering a little bit. But because my companions got heal on kill, they have the ability to last through an entire battle. They go down if they're overwhelmed, but if they... as long as they can not get overwhelmed by a whole group, they'll just keep fighting and fighting and fighting. Which is nice because it almost feels like I actually have other players like myself on the map. Or hell, they're probably better than I am. I like the way these fire arrows make the battles look, and these mages. It just adds more chaos, it's got that modern feel with the projectiles, missiles, explosions. I really like these chaotic battlefields, but you can still use pike and shot or any kind of formation you like. Like Sun Tzu said, F1, F3, this is the way. When your opponent expects F1, use F3. Now formations, you gotta use formations, flanking, as many different groups as you can, not just one or two. Or just splitting them into 3, archery, cavalry, infantry. You want to start breaking those into like 2 archery, 1 cav archery, 1 cav melee, and then two or 3 infantry lines where you can do polearm, shields, and, you know, low tier. And use your troops where they're strong, you know. Use your shield guys, put them in a shield wall, and then put your polearms behind in a line so that they can get some shots. Now I have custom pikes which are like, you know, 3 meters long in some cases. So we can do some different pike and shot formations, because we got, you know, crossbowmen and musketeers. What I do on these, on castle defenses when I'm outnumbered, is I'll put my troops inside the castle, and whatever troops automatically run on the wall is all that's going to be up there, because with these many projectiles, explosions, missiles, it's just easy pickings. If you put all your infantry on the wall, 1 mage could take them all out. I think the same thing applies to vanilla troops, except, you know, you'll get battered with bolts and arrows. Oops, just took a stab at Maximus. I had to add Link to the team because our world has elves, and we needed someone to represent the elves on the team, so we got Link and Zelda. And it is a video game, and, you know, it's like a Narnia playthrough, so I thought, to hell with it, let's add him in there. I think he was originally going to be my next chosen one for the leader. finally, by the end of this series, I start to get my settings figured out. You see, there's just a little bit of a stutter every now and then. Really bothers me when I'm rewatching these. Oh, just about got him with the Superman stab. Some of these Elden Ring guys are fucking tough, man. There's like a few demigod troops on the play, so actually once in a while you could run into an army of demigods. And one of them is hard for my main character to battle. So thankfully they're usually, you know, mid-tier troops. But I've ran into a legion of demigods, and they're hard to deal with. So Hercules here originally had some Spartan type gear with the lion head mask. But now he's a lion knight under Merlin and Arthur. Which I think it kind of looks cool on these Greek knights. Because what I did was I kind of mixed a little bit of their traditional style just to keep them recognizable. Like, I like to be able to recognize my characters while the battle's happening. So that's what I'm going to do, is I'm going to switch my character depending on the battle and the scenario. So we had to break in, so I need into this camp, so Hercules was the only option to not lose 50 troops. Or at least 50, I should say. And I think we were pretty heavily outnumbered at the start of this. Almost 2-1 if I remember correctly. The Azurai are a really tough clan. When you look at their troop tree, it's just like all these golden knights. They got this really good mix of, like, they're well-rounded, but they also got mages and musketeers. Like, when you look at the Asian team Khuzait, they're incredibly offensive. You know, really good bows, extremely good weapons, mystical blades. But the Greek are more defensive. Everybody's got shields. They're not the best armor. They don't have the best offense, but they got a lot of mages and dark magic. Where the Khuzaits they're more musketeer and, like I was saying, enchanted blades and enchanted bows. I wish I could share this troop tree, but unfortunately I've tried and it doesn't quite work. It would work, but you would have to have all the mod imports. But I would encourage you to start your own and build your own troops. It's actually kind of fun, but there's a lot of problems that comes with it. Like doing this was not easy. Fuck, I'm always burping when it's time to run the microphone. I don't burp all day, then I do some streaming, and then it's like... all of a sudden I gotta burp 20 times in a row. What I did was I just took a break from playing, but again, like... modding and stuff was new to me, so I was having a lot of fun just creating things. But it's just like, you know, how much time do you put into a campaign already? All I did was, you know, took a few days and would build troops, and then I'd test it out for a few days, and I'd build some more. It's a lot of trial and error, though. If you have to learn like what items cause a crash if you're importing new ones. So I learned you gotta only edit one troop type at a time and test it out. Just make sure it like loads the game proper. If it loads once, if it loads the first time, it will load 100% of the time. The problem is if you edit 20 troops, then you don't know which item is causing that crash, you know what I mean? You know, I think one thing I could do is share my save game, but again, you would need all these mods. And I don't think the mod uploaders would like it if I made a mod pack. But like, let's say you wanted to ignore my troops and all the item imports. What you do, you get custom companion, you get my little warband, the same variations, right? And then from there you're able to do whatever you want. And you just start selecting a few of the battle mods like partial parry, knock them down, realistic shields, useful secondary attacks, you know, any of those ones you want, and you can start stacking them up. Just with those battle mods, and the custom companion is like it's a whole new experience. It gives you so much control over like who your companions and troops are. Like what I did first was I changed all my troops, my companions, but then I found myself easily defeating the enemies, so I had to boost the enemies to match my troops, if that makes sense. In fact, I made the enemy troops stronger to make it like more of a challenge for my super-powered characters. Yeah, hey, look at these, how long these pikes are. All the different pikemen have been changed. Some of them are longer than others, but it's really fun to mess around with formations with those. You can do some phalanx squares, or pike and shot is really fun to mess around with. Just making a bunch of pike squares and musketeer squares. Get home, get home. This is why I wanted to create a new character. This is I think this guy's just about maxed out on level, but it's almost easy beating up hundreds of people with him. It's gonna be funner to have him as a companion and fight him in tournaments and stuff like that. But for emergencies, I'm gonna switch to other heroes. Went for the flying shot and blocked it with his shield. So now they've trickled down quite a bit. I ended up boosting the army number because this was a little too slow. It can be fun actually, fighting them like orcs on Lord of the Ring. Like this, you can run through them, getting kills, doing blocks and parries. Gonna hit him with the rail gun. Like I said, this was supposed to be like Diablo, like, you know, the big guys are like the barbarians. The Amazons are like the Amazons, right, and sorceresses. But there's also a lot of cannon fodder. I can't believe these guys are still trying. This is sort of the funnest part though, when you get no armor guys, you can use, what was it called now? Slicer. Yeah, if you got an axe, a sword, or anything, you can slash through a whole group of these guys. Oops, got one of my own characters there. I forgot about the weather change. That's gonna mess with my green screen. I mean, a bit of an overdrawn battle, but got to display the whole fight anyways. So if you like the content, let me know what you'd like to see. What you'd like to see changed in the next video. As of now, I don't really have an idea. I'm just gonna share certain points. This was like a couple days of playing. I would just save the video and then I'm just mashing together the parts that didn't end up too like laggy or whatever. Here's a little Sun Tzu arrow funnel that I'm working on with a cavalry screen up front. I always use what's called a crazy horse hit and run, and both these tactics I actually learned on Deadliest Warrior. If you guys remember that show, it's pretty old. Used to play on Spike TV. But I was just watching it for fun. I wasn't actually expecting to find techniques, but they break down a whole lot. It seems like the feint retreat was a really good strategy in history, so I will do that with my horses as well. But I always start with the crazy horse hit and run, which means we're just gonna ride out, and just like it says, we're gonna hit our opponents and we're gonna keep moving. And what I like to do is I like to avoid running any of my troops into their infantry, because any one of them that get caught are basically going to get knocked off the horse and then they're useless. They won't be able to keep up. Keeping everyone on their horse is rule number one, and so what you do is you just keep flanking. Every time you get close to their their infantry, you just turn so that your troops don't run into them head on, and you just do a circle, swing back, hit them again, swing back, hit them again. As long as you're moving, you're wasting their ammo. As long as you're hitting, you're winning. And so once I'm done my hit and run, I'll put my my cavalry to rest, and then I'll let these guys run into our arrow trap. And then what I'm gonna do is, sometimes if I notice they're attacking my archers, what I'll do is I'll start moving a shield wall forward, and then I'll put my pole arms behind the shield wall. And what you want to do is you send your shield wall first, because with their shields up they move a lot slower. So you don't want to get your troops tripping over each other. So you send your shield wall first, and then you let your pikes follow behind them. Which is not what I did here, you see. I didn't really have time in this one though, but that's, in a perfect world, that's what I would have done. So it looks like, so we're up against Battanians, but they got a lot of Azurai troops. Just kind of a cool look with the green shields. Looks like they might have some pretty high tier troops. But as you see, they're pretty hard to budge. I'm just getting free shots because they're targeting my team right now. So sometimes these guys just don't quit. I think this is pretty much the end of the battle here. We're just gonna run around and try to find these last couple guys. One guy left. Yeah, I think this is pretty much the end of the episode. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna sign off here, I think. If you like the show, let me know what you'd like to see more of. If you want to see more technique and strategy or more modded showcases. Or if you want to get one of these started, let me know and I'll try to help you out. But I'm going to log out here. I believe there's a couple more minutes of the show left. So anyway, thanks for watching and I will catch you next time.
Infantry!